Hello everyone, welcome back to Remixing Reality. I'm your host DJ, and today we're actually going to be doing a little treat here. We're going to be talking about walking meditation. I took this footage yesterday. There's a nice little park close to my house, and there's this nice little spot where there's a little pathway, and it was snowing, and I figured, you know what, might as well go out, practice a little bit outdoors. No, you don't necessarily have to go outside to practice walking meditation. Actually, if you have enough room in your room to just take a few steps, you can practice walking, mindful walking. Now, we can practice walking meditation at faster paces and just being kind of aware if we go for kind of a standard walk. But what's kind of nice about slowing it down, taking a few steps and then intentionally turning around and then taking a few more steps and just kind of go back and forth is it's really reinforcing the fact that we're walking not to get anywhere in particular. We are just enjoying the process of walking itself. So sometimes even when we go for a nice little stroll, we have the intention, I'm going to walk around the block, I'm going to walk this far or whatever. But here we're just walking in a line and turning around. And it's just a nice alternation of posture besides the sitting. That's quite nice. And we can talk ourselves in with wholesome thoughts into a rather nice state of mind just through practicing mindful walking. But it is really wonderful just to return to each step being the destination. And this doesn't have to be super separate from mindfulness of in and out breathing. In fact, we can practice mindfulness of in and out breathing while we practice mindful walking. Now, we don't have to make any super hardcore rigid rules, but one of the ways I like to play with it is, say, on the in-breath, taking, a certain amount of steps, almost getting rhythmic with this. So, breathing in long, we might take about 4 steps, or maybe even going up to 8. And then on the out-breath, we take another 4 steps or 8 steps. And we really time it out, and we get into a nice rhythm. And with that, maybe we can even think wholesome thoughts or mantras, if you will, in our mind, breathing and walking. This is satisfying enough. Breathing out, walking. This is successful enough. And so we can bring up different aspects and perhaps work on those with a few phrases, and they can even be a little repetitive if we wish, and rhythmic, and we can bring it all together. And just again, the idea here is to have the sati, to have the mindfulness return, maybe a few times per breath, but even with the steps, with each step, we become aware of the steps, grounding us back here and now, and we can see what's going on. But what's beautiful too is we can come back to the sights. So we're doing this with our eyes open. This is a really nice way to do it. And we can really bring in, as well as we walk, just the seeing and the hearing. We can hear the steps. We can hear the breath. We can hear the sounds around us as it comes and it goes. We can see, again, it's interesting to see in front of us, and then see, too, as we're walking forward, with indirect experience, what's behind us is disappearing. And there's, new stuff coming in, and it's in this constant change and flux. So there can also be a beautiful playing around with noticing change. But once again, it's really keeping these things as a grounding with the walking and the breathing. We can get nice and unified and harmonized and really playing within the rhythm of the breath and the steps and having it all sync up, and then just returning to these gladdening thoughts and the thoughts that, yes, just walking right now, just walking is satisfying enough. And it is kind of very helpful on a practical level, though, just to get outside, to get out in nature and enjoy that as well. So it's nice to have the balance of walking indoors. Again, in a way, we don't want to be attached to nature as well as another sensual pleasure, which could be funny enough. But, there might be certain times where we can't get out there. Or, if we get attached to the beautiful scenery of winter, right, when summer comes, we don't perhaps appreciate that. But it's being able to appreciate what is. But there is definitely some, conditional things which do help with the mental health of just getting out there, getting out in nature and appreciating it. Again, it's a very simple pleasure. And so it's wonderful when we can come back and enjoy that, especially if we do spend a fair bit of time on the computer. Again, it's not that we, always have to throw away the computer forever and ever, but if we can take some time throughout our day, throughout our life, to just return, touch grass, if you will, get out into nature. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then that appreciation just carries with us. So again, it's living in a very harmonious way, in a very wholesome way, in a healthy way of finding this balance. And just returning again. If you can find a spot like this, it's kind of wonderful. It's secluded, but it's out in nature. I'm quite blessed to have, be able to come to a spot like this. Again, when I can't or when something comes up, it's okay. I don't have to return there. I can practice in my room, or perhaps a little faster, go around the block. It depends, right? But it's nice to appreciate what is there and simple and easy. And that can just be each step. Again, each step coming back to this step is satisfying enough. Just this one is whole and complete as the foot rises up and then falls back down to the ground, and feeling really grounded with this. It is a really wonderful, wonderful way to practice the Noble Eightfold Method, to return to satisfaction, to see the end of dissatisfaction. And the thing is, things will come up, thoughts will come up, and perhaps even if you're outside, maybe the thought comes up, well, this looks rather weird, right? But that is something to work with. It's more fuel. So when you see that, you can spot it and be like, no, there's not that much. It's not that big of an issue. Who cares, right? Again, if somebody comes up, we can just say this is what we're doing, and it's a perfectly healthy thing, practicing this mindful walking. But you can see these different things perhaps come up, or just other past things. And then again, it's practicing that skill of taking care of the hindrances, of when we spot the hindrance, as we walk and we return to the here and now, very grounded in the walking and the breathing. When that comes up, we can say, aha, I see you. I see your doubt. I see your restlessness. Whatever has arisen, we see it. We understand that we are not it. We see that thought has arisen and we've already changed. And so we can congratulate and really work in that nurturing thought process that we're cultivating. And so every single step is complete and whole, and also at the same time cultivating and developing these beautiful skills which just makes this process all more easy, all the more easy. And so we really just can come back to such a profound sense of joy, of satisfaction, of ease, just walking back and forth in a line with no place to go and nothing to do, nothing to prove. All the burdens have been laid down here and now. There is that wholeness, there is that completeness. And it is a beautiful thing, and that's why, again, I just enjoy sharing this. There definitely is this feeling that is cultivated of this joyful, successful abundance, right? When we're talking about the Dhamma, about returning to this joy and satisfaction in something so easily accessible, but is often overlooked. And that is simply just enjoying the walking in of itself. And again, on one hand, we can quiet it down as well, right? So once the mind is nice and wholesome, we might find, okay, there's a fair bit of effort, and we can drop that effort a little bit. It can become lighter and lighter until we experience just the walking. Internal dialogue is quieted down. We really play with the gaps and just experience the steps in of themselves. We experience just the sound itself arising and ending. And we can see really clearly whenever obstructions to the mind come up. And then we can just see them go and fade away very quickly. And so we can come again to this place, returning to wholesomeness and stillness and serenity. We can do it again when we practice mindful walking, but we can also do it here and now while watching this video, while listening to, my voice, this voice. We can return to this same stillness, this same serenity and joy. So we're going to wrap it up here, but maybe this was a fun little inspiration to enjoy mindfulness of walking, but also just to enjoy in general. Enjoy this breath. Enjoy this posture that we are in, being aware of it, and returning home. Thank you all.